Afamefuna was a wealthy young man who is married to a woman named Amaka. He had a friend named Paul, who taught him all he knew, but Paul was found dead after he had an issue with Afam, and Afam found himself in trouble with the police for this. Now this is how it started. Afamefuna started hustling when he was 17 years old. After his father died, he had to go and hustle for his family. For that, his mother took him to learn a trade in the hands of a man that sells building material, who was popularly known as Odogwu. Now the Igbos, a tribe in Nigeria, have an apprenticeship system where you learn a trade for a fixed period of time and get paid a particular amount, plus a shop to start your own business after the expiration of the time. Before accepting him, his boss gave him 3 rules. He must be nice to customers, he must not steal, and he must avoid women, and he accepted. But after the warning, the temptation came to him. His boss had a beautiful daughter, and as you expected, Afam became drawn to her. He kept looking at her and forgot himself. Now Paul was also working for Odogwu. In fact, he was the smartest and most social among all the apprentices. He became friends with Afamefuna immediately. Afamefuna began falling in love with his boss's daughter, Amaka. At times, he looked at her from afar with admiration, but problems started the day he saw her kissing Paul. But that was not all. He got into a fight with one of his fellow apprentices because of the frustration from seeing Amaka with Paul. But this did not discourage Afamefuna. He started working hard so he could be able to make money and have a chance with Amaka. But the distraction of Amaka could not be taken away because another day he found them in the back of the house cuddling again. This made him upset again. Now the scene shifted to when Afamefuna became a grown man together with Paul and Amaka. Even as grown-up adults, Amaka and Paul were still cuddling, but now the situation has changed because Amaka has started stealing her father's money to give to Paul whenever he requested. At a point in their business, their boss's goods got seized by customs officials. They are actually in charge of seizing any fake goods or goods that do not pay any fee attached to importation, and he was asked to bring about 10 million naira before he could clear the goods, but he did not have such money. So to help the boss, Afamefuna decided to go to a custom official to ask for help despite not knowing anyone. But as God may have it, he met someone at the customs office who was willing to assist, and at least the goods were released after his master followed him to pay 2 million naira rather than the initial 10 million naira. One thing that happened was that Afamefuna has been honest and very hardworking, which was noticed by his boss. But as Afamefuna was assisting his master, so was Paul. A man came to buy goods at their shop, but the money they brought was fake. So, as Paul came, he checked the money and discovered it was fake. He then alerted his colleagues, which made the men that came with fake money run away. When his master saw this, he was touched and decided to bless Paul. And can you guess his reward? Yes, you got it. He was set free from his apprenticeship and given money to start his own business. But the story twisted. Rather than blessing Paul, Afamefuna was the one that was going to be set free and given money to start his own business. This created enmity between Afamefuna and Paul, even with the other apprentices that came before him. The day Afamefuna was about to leave his boss's house, he found Amaka crying alone, so he approached her, and she revealed that she stole her father 1 million naira and gave it to Paul, who fled with the money after he promised to give her back the money. Hearing this, Afam advised her to stop crying and ask her to accept whatever punishment was given to her by her father. Please, if you watched to this point, I beg you to subscribe to my channel. After a long time, Amaka was in a mall shopping. When she met Afamefuna after a long time, they both shared the happy moment together, but to his surprise, she was with Paul, the one who left her. So when they met again, Afamefuna told Amaka she wanted to be her man, but she didn't give him any reply and left. So he took a step forward and came to her father's house to ask for her hand in marriage, which she and her father agreed to. Finally, they did their marriage introduction for her to formally accept Afam. But before their introduction, Amaka went to sleep with Paul for the last time, before the wedding, without Afamefuna knowledge. But something tragic happened. Paul was found dead after the marriage between Afamefuna and Amaka. Now the question is, who killed Paul? Paul was found dead at a football field by some boys, and the only person that the police suspected was Afamefuna, because they were close and they invited him over for questioning. But the interrogation did not end well, because Paul and the officer interrogating him were having heated exchanges after he kept on insisting that he killed him. But the story is deeper than we think. Paul was actually doing business with a cartel known as the Nwa Bois cartel. According to Afamefuna, Paul did a shady deal with these guys and ended up owing a debt up to 300 million naira, which made this cartel come after his life. So he ran to Afamefuna for help, and Afam agreed to pay 5 million naira per month to these Danladi brothers cartel. Paul was not satisfied with the amount that was being helped with and decided to blackmail Afam. During their conversation, Paul threatened to expose the fact that he is the father of Afam's child if he refused to give him the sum of 10 million naira. This revelation triggered Afam's anger, and he asked Paul out of his office and never to see him again. So he went for a DNA test and found out that his son was actually not his. He obliged and sent 10 million to Paul. Paul came again to ask for money with the same blackmail and gave Afam 2 days to arrange the money. So in order to get back at Paul, Afam called the cartel and told them he would not pay the 5 million naira. The cartel went after Paul and eliminated him. After the revelation, the police decided to leave Afam. But one question that remains unanswered is that, did Amaka, Afam's wife, intentionally got pregnant for Paul before getting married to Afam? After the incident, Afam confronted his wife and she said she didn't know that their son belonged to Paul, but this excuse is not adding up because why wouldn't you know that you got pregnant for another man? And do you think Afamefuna was being a simp for agreeing to be blackmailed with a child? That's no his. Drop your thoughts in the comment section as we await if there will be a follow-up to this movie. Please like and subscribe to my channel.